Today, I am talking about one of the biggest and most powerful ways for you to start to burn calories, lose the fat, and ditch the dad bod. No gym, no treadmill, no nothing, and it's a heck of a lot easier than you think it is. What is it? Well, stick around. Let's find out. What's going on, guys? I'm Roy Alexander, men's over 40 body transformation coach, and of course, host of the Barbells To Buddhas, the official place for men and dads who want to, as I say, live leaner, stronger, longer, and a hell of a lot better into their 40s and well beyond. And that's exercising smarter, enjoying exotic and delicious foods, while of course staying lean and strong, doing fun and exciting shit, traveling the world, making more money, new friends and social connections, and maybe discovering just a passion or two that is going to help you jump out of bed in the morning, never hit that snooze button again, and just start to jump in today and make their day the best day of your life and every day after that. And if that sounds good to you, then welcome, my friends, to Barbells To Buddhas. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, I am talking about a very big and very huge topic that I cover with all of my men's body transformation coaching clients. And it has a part literally in everything I do in my programs, my kickstarts, and most importantly, in my own life. And that's why I know it works so well. Well, what am I talking about? Well, it's neat. And yes, it's also cool. You'd get it when you know what neat is. Now, before I start, I do want to tell you a little bit of a story. So I have, for the last 20 years now, used a standing desk. And quite often, like you can see me as I sit here swaying back and forth, I usually some sort of moving stool. Now, when I lived in Bangkok, Thailand, I had a loft in my home, and I had the designer put in a standing desk that could allow me to look down over the first floor, which was kind of like my gym, my home gym on the bottom floor. Now, when I took over as the strength and conditioning coach for the Fairtex fight team in Thailand, it's in a hotel, so quite often I would go up to the second floor where they had kind of the standing tables that they would use for banquets and weddings and whatnot, and I would use that. And quite often what I would do is I would take my laptop and actually plop it up onto a box to get that proper sort of ergonomic height. Anytime I could find an excuse to stand, I would. Even today, when I go to coffee shops, quite often I'm on the lookout for a coffee shop that either has, bar height tables, or those like the cupboard height tables, at least, where I can go back and forth between sitting on the stool and standing. And when my social media started to grow, I finally, and I wanted one for so long, but they were so expensive at the time, and they're not anymore. But I wanted a free, electric standing desk. And one was sent to me actually by Anthrodesk out of Toronto. And that's what I'm using literally today, right now, as I record this. This right here, can you hear that? That is my electric standing desk from Anthrodesk. My life and my home is all about functional furniture. A couple years ago, I think it was for Christmas, birthday, I can't remember, for one of those two, my wife actually got me Turkish floor couches. When I was in India, you'll see pictures on, I've had pictures I've shared on my medias before of us going to cafes and sitting on the floor in India or Thailand. I have many different kinds of floor cushions, zabutons, zafus, floor seats, you name it. In Thailand, quite often, it was funny, when I first moved there, I wasn't used to it. And I would go to my wife's cousin's house, and she was married to a guy from Canada. And we'd be sitting at the table on the chairs, and the entire family, even though there was couches and chairs, they were all sitting on the floor. And over time, I started to just love sitting on the floor, and it's something we don't do enough of. And that is all comes down to a part of what I'm talking about today, which is NEAT, or non-exercise activity, thermogenesis. I know, some big words. So let's just dig into the problem, and then we can talk about my solution. So you may have heard that sitting is the new smoking, right? It's a phrase basically, but what it does is it just highlights the dangers of the prolonged sitting and, i.e., or whatever you want to call it, a sedentary lifestyle. Now, most people watching this live a pretty sedentary lifestyle. If you are watching this in any basically first world countries, and even most countries now are just becoming more and more sedentary. And just as smoking was recognized as a major health risk, excessive sitting has now also been linked to a variety of health problems, including obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even early mortality. So this is how this relates to NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and the importance of staying active. So we can look at some health risks associated with prolonged sitting. Metabolic issues. Long periods of inactivity can lead to a decrease in the body's metabolic rate, affecting how the body processes fats and sugars. This, of course, can contribute to weight gain and insulin resistance, increasing the risk of type 2 diabetes. Risks of cardiovascular disease go up, increases in blood pressure, higher cholesterol levels, both, which are, no matter what anybody tells you, are risk factors for heart disease. And musculoskeletal problems. Sitting for a long time can lead to poor posture, back pain, and other muscular issues due to the lack of movement and poor ergonomic practices, which is why I said even on my desk, my laptop, I would put it up on a box so I'd have the proper height. There's a lot of problems. I won't get into it all today, but even standing desks, if they're not optimized properly, still can give you some problems because, there's that looking down thing that we get all the time. So even if you're on a standing desk, you still tend to be looking down, which is the screen that I'm recording this on right now, my webcam right here. That screen is up on one of those poles, so it brings it more up to my eye level. And my laptop is also sitting quite high. You can't see it, but it's sitting off to the side over here, up nice and high. So when we look at it, we could break it. It's been broken down, sedentary lifestyle classifications. And the way it works is like this, is over 10,000 steps. And I kind of simplified this a little bit there. I think they had a few more categories, but I kind of broke it down like this. Over 10,000 steps is considered highly active. 7 to 10,000 steps is considered active. 5 to 7,000 is considered low activity. And under 5,000 is considered sedentary. Now, the average Western country is somewhere between 43 and about 4,600. That's the average person. And I've had clients where they've been in the high 3,000s. So this, guys, is a real problem that we are facing. And I didn't actually write this note down, but it's something like 20 hours or 18 hours of your 24-hour day are being inactive, whether it's sleeping for 7 to 8, sitting on the couch. You wake up and what do? You get a cup of coffee, whatever, you sit on the couch. And then you sit in your car or the bus or the train to get to work, to sit. You're just sitting all day. You only get up to use the washroom, maybe lunch breaks. Most people get their food delivered, So a lot of problems when it comes to sitting, and we don't even realize just how much we're doing it. So let's talk about then, what exactly is NEAT, the definition of NEAT. So NEAT encompasses all the calories you burn through daily activities that are not formal exercise. This includes walking, getting out of your desk, typing, gardening, even fidgeting, right? This contributes to what's called your total daily energy expenditure, which is your TDEE. And NEAT, the calories burned from NEAT, make up a significant portion of your TDEE, or your total daily calorie burn, if you want to put it like that, which also includes your basal metabolic rate, which is just the calories that you have from just being alive, such as your brain, your heart, just keeping your body temperature warm, just the things that are happening internally if you were just lying there. The thermogenic effect of food, which means the calories that you burn from actually eating food, and then exercise activity, of course, is going to burn calories. And NEAT can be anywhere between 10 and 30% of your daily caloric burn. Now, 30 is pretty high, but it can be done. But on average, your BMR is about 60 to 70%. And again, there's some overlapping numbers because, this is the way it works. 60 to 70% is your BMR. NEAT, like I said, is anywhere between 10 and 30. Thermogenic effective food is somewhere around 5%. And exercise, depending on how crazy you go at the gym, how often you go, all that sort of stuff, how long you work out, can be anywhere as low as 2 to about 5%. So how does NEAT impact caloric burn? Well, there's calorie burn variation. So the amount of calories burned through NEAT varies widely among individuals' lifestyle activity levels. For example, like I said, a sedentary office worker might have a lower NEAT compared to, say, a busy restaurant server, or maybe somebody who's doing construction, walking up and down and using their hands all day. Somebody who's got a very physical job. But it even has strong impact on personality types. For example, people who are anxious fidgeters. I, by far, am one of those. I have a personality type where I just cannot stop moving. It drives the wife nuts. We'll be sitting on the couch and I'm kind of just kicking my foot while we're watching TV or whatever. I'm constantly moving all the time. Like I said, even in this chair, I tend to swivel, back and forth, even just unconsciously. I just sort of do it. I just can't stand still in one spot. Can we thank my ADHD for that? 100%. But that's just the way it is, right? And then, of course, you got things like cleaning, walking to the store, standing while you work, playing with your kids, cutting the lawn. All that can contribute to NEAT and can significantly increase your daily caloric burn. For instance, I cut the lawn for my very first time about 2 weeks ago. It took me like an hour and a bit, and I was like, holy crap. That's a lot of movement, just pushing that thing back and forth and walking all around. So I'm going to give you some examples of the calories that you burn from NEAT, okay? So walking casually, that's about 2 to 3 miles an hour, can burn approximately 1 to 200 calories per hour, depending on the weight and your walking pace. Standing can burn about just 50 calories more compared to sitting. So for instance, just using a standing desk, say for 4 hours a day out of your 8-hour day, that's an extra roughly 200 calories from just standing, not even doing much more than that. Household chores like gardening, vacuuming, cooking, whatever, you're just standing up on your feet and you're moving around a bit, 100 to 300 calories an hour. Fidgeting, like small movements like tapping your feet, shifting in your seat like I am, they can all add up, potentially up to 100 to even 800 calories a day, guys. And check this out. There's a simple one for you. Even just going and buying a chair that rocks. And I'm not talking about like an old granny wooden crappy rocking chair. I mean, you can go type up IKEA, some really nice chairs out there that have some rocking on them. A rocking chair can burn up to 150 calories in an hour. So next time you're out there, instead of buying yourself a really luxurious lazy boy, get yourself a really luxurious rocking chair. So let's talk about the role of NEAT in creating a calorie deficit. So NEAT encompasses, like I said, all the small movements and activities throughout the day. Now, while these may seem quite minor to you, they do add up significantly over time. Increasing activities such as taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking while talking on the phone, or standing while working can increase your NEAT and thus increases your calorie expenditure. By incorporating more non-exercise activities into your day, you can boost your metabolism. Even seemingly insignificant movements can elevate your metabolic rate, leading to increased energy expenditure, i.e. calorie burning. Unlike other forms of exercise routines, NEAT is much more sustainable in the long term. It doesn't require any sort of time dedication. It doesn't require memberships. It's easy to integrate in daily life. You don't have to recover from it. It is very simple and can help you create and maintain a significant caloric deficit, which is going to help with your long-term fat loss and just keeping it off. Creating a caloric deficit for fat involves burning more calories than you consume, which I hope we all know by now. NEAT contributes to this by, of course, increasing those amount of calories and can put you into a deficit just that little bit easier, which is all good. Now, while structured exercise is important, and it is, because if you want to transform your body, guys, every guy really you talk to, they always want a bigger chest, bigger. That doesn't come through NEAT. It doesn't come from anything. It comes through weight training, resistance training, right? So the goal, of course, is to lose fat and build muscle. And that's where the gym gets really, really important, right? So like I always say, you go to the gym to create an environment where can build some muscle. And of course, food comes in there, but you're going to the gym to weight train. You go in the gym to damage your muscles. You're going to the gym to, to do what it is, to create the stimulus, the hormone boosts, to grow some muscle. You're going to do your cardio, all your high intensity, your steady state, all the stuff that's above your NEAT. That is for your heart, for your lungs, your cardiovascular system, for your brain health, your BDNF boosting in your brain, which is like brain fertilizer. All that is your cardio. You got your mobility, you got your stretching, all that sort of stuff. Okay? But by focusing on both NEAT and regular exercise, you can maximize your total daily energy expenditure, enhancing your fat loss efforts. All right, guys, so I got a quick ask for you. So if you're hearing this, could you do me a gigantic favor? Now, honestly, I don't know if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, or maybe you're even watching this on my official Barbells To Buddhas YouTube channel. If you could hit me up with either a 5-star review if you're listening to this, or hitting a quick like on YouTube. And if you got a second, saying something really nice in the comments is always very appreciated. Remember, if you don't have anything nice to say, it's better not to say anything at all, and it just makes you look like a douche. Anyways, if you could do that, it would really help me grow this show, whether it's the audio version or the video version. And with that said, let's get back to Barbells to Buddhas. So what tips and tricks do I have for increasing NEAT for caloric burn? Well, the first one is just simple changes. Incorporate small changes, guys, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Next time you're at IKEA and there's that, everybody's piling in, there's the lineup because everybody's going up the escalator, and literally right beside it is the steps, and it's like 20. Just take the steps, guys. Take the steps more often. If you work in a place that's 1 story, 2 stories, 3 stories high, just take the stairs more often. Even if you live in a condo. I got a friend, she lives on it's like the 14th floor or something. She still takes her stairs a lot. Obviously not with a bunch of groceries and stuff. She doesn't do it all the time, but she still takes her stairs more often than the average person. I bet you if I was to take 1,000 people in that building and say, how many of you have taken the stairs when there hasn't been, say, an emergency shutdown where you weren't allowed to take an elevator? I guarantee you that number is going to be somewhere in the less than 3% of all those people. And I would even say that's probably high. You can set activity reminders to move every hour, right? You can use a standing desk. You can use a standing desk converter. So some people say to me, well, I work at this place and, I just can't take out the desk they've given me and put in an all new electric standing desk. Standing desk converters, guys, are basically just this thing. You plop down, it pops up and down. I went on Marketplace a few months ago because you guys know I work for a couple gyms now, and they just gave me the regular desks, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna cut it. Went on the Marketplace, I Googled standing desk, whatever, I think it was a standing desk, and literally somebody was selling standing desk converters, like brand new ones, for $20 each. It's insane. Even right now, there's a whole bunch on there for under $50. And those things, these things used to cost like $250 back in the day. Your typical standing desk, like the one I got from Anthrodesk, I think it was like almost $700. And now IKEA is selling them for like $299. There's companies out there for $199 that are selling on the Marketplace. So just go into Marketplace, just Google standing desk or standing desk converters. There really isn't an excuse. Like I said, reminders are great. Set a reminder on your watch here, your smart timer. I make all my clients wear step trackers. Set it for every 30 minutes, every 45 minutes, and just get up and take a little walk around. Or, every time you get a phone call, have a rule. Every time I get a phone call, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to walk and I'm going to talk during my phone call. All right? You can engage in habits. Choose hobbies such as dancing, trampolining, hiking, playing a sport. Now, I'm not a sports guy, but still, I go for walks every morning. I have habits that I've created, right, where I go for a walk every morning. Even last night when I got home from work, I was like, probably should. I have a goal for myself of 10,000 steps a day. It's kind of tired, but I'm like, you know what? I'm only like 1,000 or 1,100 steps away. By the way, guys, the average steps is about 10 minutes is about, 10 minutes is about 1,000 steps. So I was out for like 12 minutes, and by the time I got home, I was well over my 10,000. So I hit my goal. So there's so many ways, guys, that you can increase your NEAT without it feeling like a workout or being a burden. Type in right now, if you're on Google, type in walking pad. So walking pad. These are little treadmills that only go up to, I think it's like maybe 3.5 kilometers an hour or whatever it is. Very slow. It's basically like my treadmill, for instance, and I have a cheaper treadmill. It's still nice, but it only goes, I think my treadmill tops out at a speed of 12. So these are like 3.5. So they're like a third of what a running treadmill does, but they're not meant for running. They're just meant for walking. And you can get a standing desk and you can actually put a walking pad under it so you can walk and do your work at the same time. And quite often you'll see, a lot of health-based influencers doing that. Now, I would love to get one, but I really don't need one because right off camera, like right there is a treadmill. So I'm not going to get a walking pad, but I do use that a lot. So I would suggest getting a treadmill, a spinning bike, something like that you can keep in the house for those rainy, crappy, cold days if you can. They got treadmills, guys, now that, like I said, there's walking pads for $200. They got treadmills. I think it's Echelon. There's a couple companies now. They fold right up to like 6 inches. You can roll it under your bed. They fold it right up against the wall. It's crazy what they can do with treadmills now. So, track your activity. Use a pedometer. I mean, that'd be kind of weird because that's like 1990s. But get yourself a fitness tracker. Any kind of smartwatch is going to have it. And ignore the people that are like, oh, well, it's actually not tracking your steps per se. I'm like, well, okay. It's tracking your physical activity units. That's what I tell people. I can sit down and I can go, okay, I'm only at 8,000 physical activity units. And I go, yeah, I did a lot of sitting today. I didn't really move much. I was in my car. I was in the office. I didn't do much. So another day where I could be like, okay, I've hit 12,000 physical activity units. I'm like, yeah, I did a lot today. We went to the beach, we went to the park, we went whatever. So it's good for that. It gives you a good idea of where you're at for the day, whether or not it's perfect. It does not have to be perfect. Way too many people, my friend, are focused on perfection, and that leads them to just not taking action or just shitty action and just excuses. Really, perfectionism is it's used to create not doing actions, right? It's used to create laziness. So perfectionism is really just a term that people that get caught up in when they're just too lazy to actually do anything. So anything is better than perfect, except perfect. Perfect is better than perfect. Well, perfect's as good as perfect. I think you guys get what I mean, right? Those weren't notes. I was just thinking about that. But yeah, it drives me nuts when people are like, well, it doesn't track perfectly. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Anyways, set goals, aim to gradually increase your step count or at least time on your feet each week. So do this. This is what I do with my clients, okay? I never give them a step goal. I should say, I don't give everybody the same step goal. Now, on average, science has shown that 7,000 and above is good. Anything above 12,000, right at 7 to 12 is great. Anything above 12, that's not really necessary. I'm not saying not to do it. It's just I don't think there's not a huge lot of return, I don't think, for above 12,000. So what I'll do first is I look at a client. So let's just use the guy who was doing 3,000. And I'll say, okay, can we go up to 4,000? So we increased it by, say, 25%. Because I've seen clients make the mistake before of going from, say, 3,500 to thinking, oh, I have to hit 10,000. And next thing I know, it's like my back sore, my legs sore, my ankles are sore. I feel like crap. I feel exhausted. I feel beat. Yeah, of course you're going to. It's like not playing a sport at all than just saying, hey, I'm just going to jump into a basketball game tonight after sitting on my couch. So take everything easy. But set a goal of maybe track or 25%, or say, you know what? Maybe if you're not even going to track, then do this. Just wake up and say, okay, I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk every morning. I know that's 1,000 steps roughly. And start doing it like that. You don't have to track. Just start setting yourself. So maybe say again, do one 10-minute walk a day. And then later on, it's going to be one 15-minute walk a day. And then maybe it might be 2 10-minute walks a day. You guys get the idea, right? And also just standing desks. So many people buy standing desks and then there's one of two things happen. They typically end up not using it as a standing desk and it just ends up being a sitting desk that never goes up. Or they just say to myself, well, I'm just going to stand and then they get injured or they just feel like crap, and then they go back to the sitting. So no, you go back and forth. Go back and forth. Get yourself a stool like me that has a foot pad so I can raise my feet up in different positions, because angles are really important too. Different, and not that static 90-degree position, having one leg up, one leg down, one leg up, the other leg down. Being able to just, like I said, wiggle back and forth here. But sit down, stand up, sit down again, stand up. Maybe every hour you trade back and forth. And try to make NEAT a daily routine by integrating movement into your lifestyle. So those are my big ones. So key points today, guys, is trying to just get more physical activity in your day that's outside of the gym and whatnot, and making that activity so it just doesn't make you feel beat at the end of the day. I really encourage you to start moving more and doing as best you can to get a little more movement in your day. I would really suggest, this is where I would start. I would start with walks. Then I would definitely look into some sort of standing desk, whether it's a standing desk converter, standing desk, whatever it is. Then you could, get yourself a good little bench. There's wall furniture, and then just honestly, just start going down the rabbit hole. Get yourself a walking pad, get yourself a wobble chair. There's so many neat furnishings out there now that you can get that just makes an office cool. Believe me, if you hired me to design your office or the office for you and your staff, you'd have the coolest looking biophilic, awesome, fully movement functional yet chill office in the entire world. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. So call to action, guys, today. What are we going to say? Step tracking. Get yourself a step tracker, maybe buy a standing desk. Or let me know how you are going to do it. If you're watching this or listening to this anywhere where you can comment, give me some comments below. And if you're at a place where you can't comment, well, I guess that's just too bad. Anyways, that is a wrap, guys. But remember, while this may be the end of this episode, this could be the start of your transformation. And what better place to start than by getting a free copy of my No More Dad Bod Fat Loss Roadmap. This is a men's only user guide to ditching the dad bod to get the body you dream for the life that you deserve. And to get your copy, just visit roaralexander.com/no-more-dad-bod or barbellstobuddhas.com/no-more-dad-bod. Download it straight to your inbox. And until next time, guys, remember, I'm here to help you live leaner, stronger, longer, and as always, a hell of a lot better. Talk to you guys again soon.